This is the Bloom & Hoo shipyard. It is located in Hamburg, Germany. Super yachts are being built here. The company was founded almost 150 years ago and has always specialized in the most ambitious and exclusive projects. 100 years ago, they built a 136-meter yacht Severona, which was handed over to Ataturk. In 1934, they built a yacht for Hitler. Dubai sheiks and oligarchs Abramovich Smenachenko build their yachts here. Here they are all served. But on the morning of the 19th of January, 2022, it was restless here. The managers received a letter. One of the yachts, which was being repaired right here at that moment, had to be urgently returned to the owner for transportation to Russia. No explanation. The letter only says that the owner of the yacht is very unhappy with everything. Repairs, which were supposed to last another year, are urgently curtailed in a panic in 12 days. The crew members who lived here in Hamburg are moving out of rented apartments, canceling mobile phone contracts, canceling insurance. And most importantly, the yacht is not ready at all. There are holes in the surface part that need to be covered with shields. The galley, cabins, and rudder with a screw must be assembled. They are asked to load on board the maximum of equipment, putty, paints, everything that is possible. And the yacht cannot go on its own, it will be towed. Madness. A logistical thriller, a special evacuation operation that does not, at first glance, make any sense at all. For no one but one person. I have decided to conduct a special military operation. The only person who knew exactly the day on which the war would begin. The yacht is being towed to Kaliningrad, the nearest place where it will be safe.
We are talking about the yacht Graceful. She was evacuated from Germany, and this is the yacht of Vladimir Putin, who perfectly understood that he would be the first whose property would fall under sanctions, would be frozen because of the war.
I would like to thank everyone who took part in the preparation of evacuation points for their promptness.
Before we show you this yacht from the inside, study exclusive photos and plans together, and tell you how the president of a warring country spends his vacation, let's deal with the historical part. And then you never know, maybe you got confused in the sea yachts of a modest official Vladimir Putin, earning 850,000 rubles a month and declaring to Volga, a field, and a skiff trailer.
In total, Putin has 3 large sea yachts. The very first yacht, called Olympia, was presented to him in the 2002 year by the oligarch Roman Abramovich. This is a bribe, a gross violation of the law. It's ridiculous to say this now, but, according to the law, Putin had to resign simply upon receiving such a gift. Hello, we have arrived. The yacht Olympia was 57 meters long and cost $50 million. It is, of course, not personally issued to Putin, but to an offshore company from the Cayman Islands. In the 2011 year, Olympia was spotted near Putin's palace near Gelendzhik. She was guarded there by 2 guard ships. Boats with passengers cruised between the yacht and the palace.
Putin's second yacht, this is just Graceful, means elegant. It began to be built in the 2006 year at the Sevmash plant in the Russian Severodvinsk. However, they did not build it all there, but only part of the building. And then she was sent to finish building in Germany. It was launched there in the 2014 year. This yacht costs twice as much as Olympia, $100 million. Its length is 82 meters. Journalists have unearthed that this yacht was in Sochi at about the same time as Putin. But here we must honestly say that there has never been concrete evidence that this is Putin's yacht until today.
Sheherazade Vladimir Putin built his 3rd most luxurious yacht in the 2020 year. And this, of course, is a completely different level. 140-meter Sheherazade, worth $700 million without finishing, has become one of the largest and most luxurious yachts in the world. Inside is a real floating palace, a dance floor that turns into a swimming pool, literally an aqua disco, a movable billiard table that allows you to play when the yacht is rocking on the waves, a yacht grand piano, endless super expensive furniture, gold everywhere, even a toilet paper holder on the yacht is gold. Scheherazade is, of course, a pearl, an outstanding specimen. It was built in such secrecy that for several years no one could even guess who it belonged to. That, in fact, was Putin's calculation, that no arrest of Scheherazade is in danger, because she is so intricately framed, so disguised, that no one will prove anything in life. And then, we took and proved that the yacht is operated by Russians, that officers of the Federal Security Service serve on it, the same people who work in Putin's residences. Scheherazade was arrested. It has been standing where I last saw it, for more than a year, in the port of Marina di Carrara in Italy. She's doomed. The law enforcement agencies of Spain, Italy, Germany and Finland have already conducted their own investigation, and found that Scheherazade is a gift for Vladimir Putin from friends of oligarchs, and Putin's friend Gennady Timchenko was responsible for collecting money.
Well, in general, the yacht is lost. And what is left for Putin in such a situation? Well, spread your hands. Did you start a war?
Yes, we are doing it. Well, who started it?
You destroy the neighboring country, and there is no way back, and there will be no way back. What yacht? Not to the yacht. Instead of yachts, there is now demilitarization, denazification, and a sacred military operation.
A holy war has begun for us.
Not its own, but a sacred military operation.
But Vladimir Putin has everything arranged differently in his head. Priorities, you know, are different. Fairy tales about the sacred duty to the motherland, about the protection of the fatherland, this is for you. About the belts that need to be tightened, you tighten. And Putin? Putin cannot live without a yacht. Well, it's just literally unthinkable for him. And when he lost one yacht due to sanctions, he just immediately started building another one for himself. This is a very serious big task for all Russian shipbuilders.
June 17, 2023, St. Petersburg, the tercentenary park of the city. With a solemn scene, the actor Egor Borov intensely reads Pushkin's poems, the orchestra plays.
Show off, hail Petrov, and stand firm like Russia.
The audience is delighted. This is a ceremony of raising giant, almost half a ton of flags, to a height of 180 meters. One is Russian, one is Soviet, and one is imperial in general. But the main spectator is not in front of the stage. He watches everything from afar, from the water, from a small yacht. How deeply he listens to the anthem. Just look at what kind of shooting. It seems that Putin is thinking about all the problems of Russia at once. At the same time, he is concerned about the fate of the motherland and how to save it. But, most likely, Putin is just thinking when this strange ritual of raising the clouds will end, and he will be able to leave. After all, it's not far away. Here you just need to turn your head. You can find something that Vladimir Putin is really interested in. His new, well, almost personal yacht arrived in this port just recently. Arrived after a very difficult and very large repair for the period of the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. The updated Graceful came from Kaliningrad to St. Petersburg, and the owner will finally be able to accept the work.
Without any extra pathos, we can say that this is a truly historic event. So, I think you guessed what the scheme is. With the loss of Shah Scheherazade, Vladimir Putin was left without a yacht, which is unthinkable for him. While some officials were engaged in the realization of Putin's sick fantasies of seizing Ukraine, coming up with how to mobilize and send more ordinary people to the meat grinder, others were puzzled by the fact that Vladimir Vladimirovich no longer had anything to dissect on the Black Sea waves. It takes at least 3 to 4 years to build a new yacht. In Russia, given the sanctions, it is simply impossible to do this technologically. Well, they haven't learned how to build yachts in the great power yet. We were busy with the import substitution of nails.
For me, for example, it was a kind of discovery. We have imported nails. I will not name the country. Guess 3 times. We don't even make nails ourselves.
And the yacht is needed now. Therefore, we decided to take Putin's old yacht and make a new one on its base. A large-scale reconstruction, complete repairs and equipment corresponding to the growing demands of the owner were started on it. Here is a 145-page list of repairs. There is a huge list, complete repainting of the hull, replacement of the helicopter pads and decks, installation of sun beds and sun umbrellas, furniture repair, marble polishing, modification of the sauna audio zone, work on elevators, swimming pool, jacuzzi. And the most important thing is the construction and equipping of a new cabin for the owner. And the cost? The cost, look. The invoices issued are very impressive. We haven't seen such sums since the days of Putin's famous palace. Wooden products for 240 million rubles, a sofa for 4 million rubles. The reclining mechanism for it, by the way, is supplied separately and costs 1,200,000 rubles. Carpets cost another 6 million, there is a coffee table for almost 8 million, and the installation of double-deck fireplaces cost 10 million rubles. There is also French wine, 3 million rubles.
Well, one of the most difficult points of work is the installation of a specialized marine structure for organizing beach and sea holidays. Even this thing has its own cipher. The Olympus project costs as much as 208 million rubles. This is definitely something top secret and super technological, because the construction is designed by the Central Design Bureau of Marine Technology, Rubin, which specializes in the construction of submarines.
The Rubin Bureau is 110 years old. It was here that all Russian submarines that took part in both world wars were designed.
Intrigued? Look, it's a pool, and this is what it looks like. This is a sea pool that connects to the yacht, and in it you can swim in the sea at the same time, but at the same time be within the sides.
And today, Rubin's team is fulfilling the president's instructions.
The structure is gigantic, 85 meters long and 25 meters wide. The terms of reference prescribe the zone of operation of the coast of the Black and Azov Seas, as well as the most important thing. The bottom of the pool should be located at a depth of 3 meters and be in the form of a net to protect the swimmer from marine flora and fauna. Vladimir Putin, it turns out, is also afraid of fish.
Well, who would like that? Who would like that?
The total budget of the yacht with all repairs and entertainment for only 2022 year was $32 million, or at the current exchange rate, almost 3 billion rubles. One more time, there was a war. Poor people were offered to go kill Ukrainians for money, and then, when they themselves were killed, well, alas, chip in for the funeral. Half of the country is forced to collect money for underpants and socks for the mobilized to make trench candles. And the man who started this war spends 3 billion just for repairs and purchases for a yacht. Okay, then one of our viewers can stop us and say, well guys, which Putin? What kind of coffee table for 8 million? What kind of floating pool? You're showing us some kind of alien yacht, maybe from some oligarch or superstar. Why should we believe you at all that this is Putin, whose mind in theory is occupied only with thoughts about the war and the fate of the world? Maybe someone else wants to swim so that the marine flora and the spider does not tickle his heels.
We agree. We prove it in 5 different ways.
The first, until recently, the yacht was registered offshore from the British Virgin Islands, registered to another offshore. The ultimate beneficiary of the scheme is Pyotr Kolbin, a childhood friend of Vladimir Putin, and the man on whom, together with Gennady Timchenko, the vineyards at Putin's palace were recorded. In December 2000 of the 20th year, the ship was allegedly sold to another owner, the Russian joint stock company Argument, whose owners are classified. I'm not the only one talking about this sale with irony. The people who service the yacht take old shareholders and new ones in quotation marks when they write about them.
The second. Do you remember, we proved that employees of the EFSA work at Scheherazade, so they work for Graceful too. Not in the sense that they are also EFSA employees, but in the sense that they are literally the same people. Vsachnik Sergei Grishin works as an assistant captain on Scheherazade, but he is also on Graceful. Here is the boatswain Vsachnik, Anatoly Fertile, on Scheherazade. Before that he worked for Graceful. The EFSA works not only ordinary members of the Graceful crew. Here is Valeria Trach. She is responsible for Graceful, for all deliveries, repairs and personnel. She is actually the second person on the yacht, after Captain Alexander Moshaysky. In addition, she is also his wife. In the documents for her son, which are needed for admission to the institute, she calls herself an employee of the EFSO, who has the military rank of captain of the 3rd rank. In the same way, several more key employees migrated from Graceful to the newly launched Scheherazade in the 2020th year. Chief Engineer and chief technician, and chief stewardess. In correspondence, this mass migration is called the process of sending people to a new facility. Well, I don't want to leave such a company, at least I understand. It's true.
Proof 3. Graceful walks by sea in a motorcade. In September 2022, she was spotted in the waters of Estonia on the way from St. Petersburg to Kaliningrad, accompanied by a Russian Coast Guard boat. Putin was so afraid that his second yacht would be arrested that they even hung a conspiratorial named Killer Whale on it, and then the Coast Guard ship, which is subordinate to the FSB, was launched.
All of them. An artillery installation, 8 portable anti-aircraft missile systems for machine guns, and 4 automated turret installations were ready to meet those encroaching on Putin's yacht.
Also, a good proof of Putin's yacht belonging to Putin can be considered American sanctions, under which it fell precisely because of who its real owner is.
Well, let's polish our evidence base with this photo. This is the yacht owner's office, a cabin for work. There is a model of a yacht on the shelf, a ship with the FSB emblem outside the window, and on the table. And on the table, there is a phone without buttons and with a coat of arms. It is called the Prestige Central Bank Special Communication Phone. According to the FSB certificate, this phone can be used to work with information classified as top secret in the premises of state authorities. Exactly the same as in all Putin's offices. Hey, Anton. Yes. Why don't you answer? This is a well-mannered person. Just in case, well, suddenly anyone can buy such phones. We tried to order one for ourselves. They wrote to several places, including the factory that produces them. Everywhere we were told that no, they would not sell. Such a device is supplied only by the factory with military acceptance. This is because the phone is a special communication. But I have to record this piece of video separately. The fact is that when we were already editing this video, we discovered that the most interesting thing in the photo is not a special communication phone at all, but the most interesting thing is this model of the yacht. The fact is that the layout of a yacht, on a yacht, is such a common thing. When the boat is completed, its owner, along with a large boat, is also given a small model of it, so that the owner sitting on his yacht can admire his yacht from the outside. In general, we have seen this 1,000 times. But let's take a closer look and see what kind of boat it is. It's not a Gracefield yacht at all, it's a Scheherazade yacht. One of the largest and most expensive yachts in the world, which, in general, is formally registered to no one. But we still proved that this is Vladimir Putin's yacht. But now, we have an excellent, very reliable, such an ultimatum proof that the yacht Scheherazade belongs to Vladimir Putin. In general, as they say, in the place where Scheherazade is now arrested, finita la comedy, Vladimir Vladimirovich.
Now that there is no doubt who is the main passenger here anymore, let's continue our tour.
Earlier we showed you the plans of palaces, but this time we have something unusual, a floor plan, or rather a deck plan of Vladimir Putin's yacht Graceful. Here it is, and along with the plan, we have a lot of photos, renderings and documents that will help us look inside Putin's yacht.
At the top, on the so-called open deck, there is a helipad. It can accept helicopters weighing up to 3 tons. Some government Mi-8 won't fit. Well, a smaller helicopter will comfortably take you to visit where you need to. Immediately on the deck, there is a salon, with a round table for 12 seats. A spiral staircase for guests, a staircase for the crew, and a yacht elevator are still visible on the plan. A little less noticeable is a separate elevator for food. On the right is the bathing area. There is a large bathroom and 2 contrasting fonts, cold and hot. How many times have we already pronounced these words, contrasting bot, cold and hot? Impossible already. Wherever Vladimir Putin lives, and happens to be, there are such contrasting fonts. There are such in every house of his, from the palace in Gelendzhik to the official residence in Novogorodovo.
In addition to this sport, he takes contrast baths. Very cold, yes.
We move on to the next deck, where the captain's bridge is located. In the left part, a sofa and a table are visible under the open sky. There is also a lounge area with a grand piano, 3 sofas, and a TV nearby.
We go down below to the main deck, the owner's deck. The main highlight of the deck can be considered this 25-meter pool. Can't you see the pool? Not surprising, because in fact, it is such a pool dance floor, literally an aqua disco. When necessary, you can dance or watch a movie in its place, and then you press the button, the floor goes down, and a full-fledged pool appears. There is also a dining room nearby, with a table for 12 people and a fireplace. This is how it should look according to the plan. Well, even to the right, we see the main master zone of 2 huge cabins. After the war, there was a massive renovation. The cabins were literally dismantled to the walls and rebuilt. Putin's houses always have a separate bedroom for him, and a separate bedroom for the hostess. This is how his residence on Valdai is arranged. This is how his palace in Gelendzhik is arranged. And there are also 2 cabins, male and female. We have photos from both. Tell us in more detail. No, I'm not kidding. Tell us.
First, from the mistress's bedroom, there is a bed here. It was bought for 3 million rubles. A mattress was purchased for another 800,000, and 2 bedside tables cost another 1.3 million rubles. That is, only this bedroom set cost 5.5 million rubles. You can buy an apartment for that kind of money. The room is divided into zones by a special showcase cabinet. The construction cost 2 million rubles. The sofa is also beautiful, 4 million. There is also a coffee table, a chest of drawers, above which hangs a picture of the forest. A champagne-colored carpet can be seen on the floor. Its cost is truly royal, 8.5 million rubles. There are also bookcases, traditionally filled with just books with beautiful spines. The cabinets cost 3 million. The cabin also has a dressing room, beautifully furnished with expensive furniture, and a bathroom next to it. The cabinets under the sinks here cost 3.5 million rubles, and the mirrors above them cost 2 more. Hanging on the other wall with an old mirror, in which you can insert a picture, cost 2 million rubles. We don't know how much. Here are more pictures of the shower and toilet. Marble decorated just everything that sees around.
Let's move from the mistress's bedroom to the master's bedroom. In the center of the room is a huge bed framed by columns. The carpet on the floor is Indian. Its area is more than 100 square meters, and the price is almost 5 million rubles. To the right of the bed is a zone with a round table where you can sit with guests, and opposite is a work area. There's a bureau table or a secretary here. It was made to order for 814,000 rubles. In front of him is a huge bookcase where books are selected not only according to the principle of a beautiful cover, but also with meaning. Putin's yacht is decorated with an illustrated photo album of St. Petersburg, a Russian-German dictionary, as well as a book about the life of Pyotr Stolypin, I believe in Russia. And of course, a huge icon is also here. In the corridor, you can find a statuette of Peter the Great and the Peter and Paul fortress in miniature. And in the next room from the sleeping room, there is just a cabin and office with a telephone. We have already shown it to you. All the furniture is made here naturally to order. That's just this table cost, for example, 1 out of 6 million rubles. In my opinion, someone is being cheated.
From the cabins of the owner and hostess, you can go down the stairs to the gym. By the way, the yacht was bought by American leg simulators of the company Hoist. As journalists from the Dossier Center recently wrote, it was these and no other FSO employees who demanded to install Vladimir Putin's armored train. On the same deck, there are cabins for guests and crew, as well as several jet skis and 2 boats. We had to sort out thousands of documents about all sorts of bills from the yacht. We've seen a lot of things. And in general, the topic of Putin's love of luxury is well known to us. But there are still a few purchases that, to be honest, just make your eyes pop. For Putin's yacht grace, they bought some endless saucers for 25,000 rubles each. Porcelain flowers for 50,000 rubles each. This is apparently for table decoration. 760,000 rubles were spent on them alone. 1 comb on a yacht costs 11,000 rubles, almost like a living wage. And what about a sled for 500,000 rubles? You know, there is also such a game of Jenga. There you need to carefully pull the wooden blocks out of the tower like this. You can buy one for 400 rubles anywhere, but they will buy one for Putin's yacht for 170,000 rubles. Well, here's another good thing. 3 armored umbrellas for 1,250,000 rubles each. They were developed for the President of France. The probe looks like a normal one, but in fact, it can be used as a shield to defend against an attack. But of course, we have gathered here not only to admire the interiors of the yacht and once again prove that Putin is simply obsessed with himself, about his rest on luxury, entertainment and other things that, well, very much does not correspond to his ascetic image.
And now, we will tell you a story that is actually much more important than a photo of an aqua disco, armored suits, a coffee table, for the price of several apartments, and a floating pool with protection from fish. A few months after the outbreak of the war, the yacht Graceful was included in the American sanctions. That is, it is forbidden to conduct any business with her at all. There will be a criminal penalty.
And it seems like the idea of sanctions is that they are trying to punish Putin, who unleashed the war. But it turns out that Putin himself, our yacht lover, is not affected by these sanctions at all. For the sake of repairing Putin's yacht, a complex system was built, a whole infrastructure of assistance in Europe, Turkey and Dubai, who help to circumvent American sanctions on a daily basis.
And it works perfectly. They don't mind any restrictions, they don't mind blocking payments abroad, they don't mind blocking Visa with MasterCard. If Putin needs spare parts or luxury furniture for his yacht, then the most suitable scheme will always be found. Even before the war, in September of the 21st year, a complex technical thing broke down on the yacht, the M2 system. Simply put, this is a display that shows the current indicators related to the operation of the engines, and through it you can change these engine parameters. The replacement of the broken system was planned for next year, since there was nowhere to hurry in general. Scheherazad's second yacht was quite on the move. And then bam! The war of sanctions, the arrest of Scheherazade, the yacht was very much needed again, and the managers began to look for a way out, or rather an intermediary ready to violate the sanctions. The Estonian company Brismarin agreed not only to buy and bring to Russia a display for Putin's yacht, but also to help with their reprogramming. In Russia, for some reason, they do not know how to do this. Estonian realtor gets equipment in St. Petersburg, finds the couriers just a private person, who takes everything in Germany to the factory, and repaired equipment is returned to Russia. In the yard, wait a minute, the spring of 2023, the second year of the war. Are you out of your mind or not?
For the past 6 years, Graceful crew uniforms have been bought in Italy. Since the 2016 year, it has been supplied by the Italian company Floating Life. But since 2022, there has been war and sanctions. You can't sell Graceful anything. The problem, out of desperation, there was even a patriotic proposal to order a crew uniform in Russia, but it broke for the harsh reality. Captain Graceful's wife writes, "There is no market for Jav and a market for uniforms in Russia. Everything will have to be ordered abroad." It's a good thing that the Italian suppliers turned out to be very accommodating. They continued their business relationship with the manager of the yacht Graceful without any problems. We helped to arrange the invoice creatively, omitting all compromising details. Can we use the crew uniform as a description? They ask. Is it right that we should not mention the name of the vessel? Oh, how careful. And then, in general, aerobatics of circumvention of sanctions. The account was redone several times. At first, they registered with a Russian company that manages yachts, but found out that for some reason there were difficulties with international transfers in Russia. Then an Estonian company came to the rescue. An invoice was issued for them, which was actually intended for Graceful. The Italians, in order not to take risks, asked to transfer the money not to Italy, but to the account of a special agent in Turkey, where there are no sanctions. You won't believe it, but it didn't work either. As a result, the form was paid for by a certain company from Dubai. After payment from Italy, the goods were sent to Lithuania, to be delivered from there to Kaliningrad, directly to the yacht. In the same way, other goods for the yacht were transported along the Turkey route. Lithuania, Kaliningrad. The presence of two Estonian companies in these different stories is not accidental. The company that helps to buy clothes bypassing sanctions is headed by the same person who helped with the displays for yachts, and the company's business went uphill after the start of the war. If in 2021 year the turnover was 432,000 euros, Then in 2022, it was already more than 1 million. And in the first 6 months of 2023, the turnover has already reached 600,000 euros.
You're doing great, that's right. Well, look at this letter with the eloquent title, Sending Supplies from Turkey. Inside is a shopping list, ship's spare parts, crew clothing, a lot of marble and glass items, sunglasses, some cables, washing machines, a part for a mushroom screw, and so on. Countries of manufacture: Great Britain, Germany, Sweden, almost all products from Europe. Altogether, almost 5 tons, worth 170,000 euros. There are photos of boxes in the application. We see some equipment, washing machines, and the name of a completely different yacht, Rachel. This yacht, unlike Graceful, is still not under sanctions, despite the fact that its real owner is Putin's friend Arkady Rotenberg. And this yacht is being used to disguise Putin's supplies. Wow, that's friendship. Arkady Rotenberg is ready not only to write down the palace for himself, but also organizes a washing machine and a mushroom screw for Putin's yachts.
Let's emphasize it again. Absolutely all companies involved in these schemes, and people from Estonia, from Italy, and from Turkey, from Germany, they have all been working with Graceful for many years and know exactly who they are selling to now, during the war. They know it's for Putin. They come up with intricate schemes and camouflage payments to each of these firms and employees who participated in the maintenance of Putin's yacht under sanctions. We will definitely write a complaint.
Instead of a postscript, allow one more story. Due to the fact that all Putin's yachts are operated by the same people, we also had a bunch of documents for the arrested Scheherazade. But you know, we watched them and were so nostalgic. The yacht was arrested, everything was investigated there, well, all the sanctions were officially imposed. Objectively speaking, the yacht is likely to remain standing for years in an Italian port. Well, maybe it will be auctioned off at best someday. But our fighters do not give up, do not lose hope. For more than a year, the crew sitting on the shore has been receiving a salary, as if they were working on a yacht in Italy. They are just sitting and waiting in Russia. Salaries are paid in cash. The table with the crew list directly indicates who will receive the coveted envelope. And in order not to get bored, everyone is regularly trained and certified, so they do not lose their skills. 20 million rubles a month are spent on the maintenance of the crew. Well, then they really think that not everything is lost. That somehow it will turn out to negotiate with the Italians, that they will release their beloved Scheherazade, they will starve them out. Because the price is obvious, there is no question when it comes to Putin's love for yachts.
Let's fix everything again. Not once there a long time ago, but right now, during the war, 3 billion rubles were spent on Putin's toy. 2 of them are for repairs, 1 billion for maintenance, crew salaries, overhead costs, connection with storage in dry dock, fuel and representation expenses.
This money continues to be spent. The yacht is going to Sochi right now, with a special escort, through the whole world, along the Northern Sea route, hurrying to the velvet season. It's just one of the toys that Putin uses a couple of weekends a year. And for the sake of these few days, billions are being spent stolen from the Russian budget.
They always say, you should judge by deeds, not by words. So here's the deal. Look, Judge. Putin says one thing on TV. He says that there is a war going on, that everyone should unite and give their lives for the defense of the motherland. And he does something completely different. A dress for a coffee table is more than for the life of a soldier, whom he sent to kill and die in an unnecessary war.
These are Putin's real priorities. His luxurious life, and everyone else is just expendable.
And the evacuation from Germany is urgent. Just imagine, well, they are sitting somewhere in Putin's office, I don't know, there, Patrushev, Shoigu, who else? And they plan to destroy the neighboring country. They plan to wipe Ukraine off the face of the earth. And then one of them is like, oh my God, guys, they forgot about the yacht. We are taking them out urgently, at any cost. War is war, and without a yacht, where the dance floor turns into a swimming pool, nowhere.
Nothing else bothers Putin and his elite. Look at deeds, not words.
Friends, if you have any more information about Putin's yachts, about his palaces and airplanes, armored trains of corruption, send this information to us. All this will be very useful to us. You can send us a message anonymously through a special website or write to us by email or via a Telegram bot. Links on the screen and in the description.
And don't forget, this and all the other investigations that come out on this channel, they come out only thanks to you. You can help us work even harder and even better if you support us. Make a monthly or one-time donation using this link.
Subscribe to this channel.
The truth is being told here.
Freedom to Alexei Navalny.